Welcome to my allotment plot 3 in North Warwickshire. Not feeling very brilliant at the moment, but we'll potter onward and forward, planting peas in the guttering. Little tips that I've got off MuddyBootz and Davison. I'll be sowing my peas dry like Mark Davison does, but MuddyBootz, if you check his channel out, he sows his after soaking his peas overnight, which I'll be giving that a whirl to see if there's any difference. The gutters have been cleaned in my cleaning station. Everything's been cleaned now, a little bit of disinfectant, ready for the new sowing season. My multi-purpose clover compost is dried out a little bit. I'll keep it covered, so I've had to just chuck a bucket full of water in there just to soak a little bit of water up. As you know, compost, once it dries out, does take a little bit of soaking, so this is pre-soaked. I'll sow some peas. That's the peas in. Recommendation is 2 inches apart in a zigzag pattern. I'll just chuck them in. As long as they're not touching. Never had any problems before. The guttering, recycled. You've only got to look out for anybody that's having their fascia and guttering changed. The contractors normally leave the guttering and all the rubbish on the front garden. Just ask. Just don't forget the end caps, because that helps retain the water. If you leave the rubbers in. But you want some drainage. I'll cover these up now, and then these will go into the Polytunnel, where we'll leave them until they're about 2 inches tall. We'll then give them a good soaking and take the end cap off, and we slide it straight into the ground. Like I say, Mark Davison, his channel, he does this, and MuddyBootz, slightly different, he soaks his peas first, which I will be having a go at. And while we're talking of waste allotments, I'd like to give a shout out for Pauline at the Happy Plotter. She sometimes comments on my channel, and she is happy. Go and check her channel out. She's a couple of plots up from Mark Davison. Enjoyable to watch. I'll move on. That's all covered up now. And clover, composts again, multi-purpose, and they're the only 3 bits of large debris that I've found. I am trying to use all my own compost now, and worm castings, etc., but I still think you do need some compost in the garden. The spent compost I get from where the cannabis growers throw out their root balls onto the verges and that, it's okay for him with the potatoes, but there are some things that you do need. And I'm not using seed compost to grow peas on. We normally grow them in the ground anyway. Just give them a bit of a soaking, and we'll keep an eye on those. We'll now move on to a competition that I entered, Purple Sweet Pea, and the seeds that I've just received. So these are the seeds that Claire from Purple Sweet Pea's Allotment channel sent me. Go and check her channel out, please. Well worth a watch. So I've got loads more varieties. Some are the same, but more tomatoes. So that'll be another lot of tomatoes I'm growing, and a cucumber. Did actually need some more cucumber. So thank you, Claire. It's Purple Sweet Pea. Take care, my friend. We'll just do a quick allotment tour now. We're in the brassica bed from 2015, just waiting for some of the things to finish off, and the purple sprouting broccoli is, you don't get much, but it's so nice. And we've still got a few turnips left in the ground. So last year's brassica bed will be this year's roots. So the ground was limed in 2014, again in 15, and just a little scattering this time, ready for the roots. And I am actually going to put my parsnips into the pallet collars. I'm hoping to get 2 more so I can put 1 each side. Did well with the parsnips in the ground, the parsnip chitting experiment. So I've got some sand, etc. Do exactly the same as I did with the carrots. And if anybody wants to see me line the pallet collars with the plastic and fill, just let me know, and I will show it this time. I didn't show it in the carrot, only the finished product. This year's brassicas. Bed's ready. It's been walked on, and I've added a few little extras, and that was some extra plants, but they're actually growing well as well, and the pigeons had just started to have an attack at them, as you can see just there. So as long as they leave the purple sprouting along alone, I'll be happy. This year's runner bean, peas, broad beans bed. The second trench now has been filled with compost from the bin. The sand over there is ready to go in the parsnip. And then this is the carrot boxes. And the onions. It's the first time that the soil's actually got moss on it. I had to hoe those through. And my nets have arrived, so that'll be another video of how I sew the nets together. And this year's potato bed, last year's roots. So we've done a full cycle. The leeks will be there this time. And as we've said before, this is the cut-off for the 4-year rotation, and then each of these corners on the longer beds gets used for the pumpkins, onions, leeks, etc. Some nice looking compost coming out the bin. The rats have been turning that nicely, and I'll just show you where they've been putting it. So they must have dug a hole in the plastic and they've been dragging it out to make room and eat anything that's nice and keep him warm. Change of design for this time once the bin's emptied, but we'll have to see. If you remember, I put a layer of leaves, this year's leaves, this autumn's leaves, and then some spent compost from the what gets thrown away into the lay-bys, and plenty of worm activity. So I should be doing the holes for the leeks, and I'm not going to disturb this. It's been dug over once, but the worms are working well and happy. A mistake I made with the alpine strawberries, I used some wood shavings from the logs around the plants to deter the slugs, but the blackbirds ripped it all to pieces, exposing the roots on the strawberries. So I've topped it up with soil, and hopefully they'll leave it alone now. So the 2 barrels, well, I've got an extra one there. I'm fed up of having drums everywhere, so I'll be fitting taps to these 2 drums. I managed to get hold of another one recently, so they've been cut in the same way, and I'll be fixing the tap to the bottom of the barrel. If anybody wants to see that, I'll video it. We'll finish the February tour in the Polytunnel. I've got this container. I'm going to be sowing some carrots in there, and then when they've gone, I can use the ground underneath for something else. Beetroot looking alright. And the lettuce, even though these frosts are still doing well, one's croaked it, and the strawberry runners, we're planting those soon. There's a new addition there, that's the solar equipment for the solar lighting, and that'll be another video. What's in the door? This is what's left of the candles. Now, because the candles aren't contained in anything, I think because they're inside those warm pots, the sides are melting and then all the wax is running away. But I'll show you that in a minute. So that's the first earlies, the Desiree, and whatever's at the back, can't remember now. Thought that'd be the King Edwards. Spring onions, showing they're germinated now. Lettuce, which you haven't seen, I'll bring those forward. So these lettuce, the Rossa mixed, 1 seed per pot, and that they're coming up nicely. I'll put some kale in there, and I can't see, oh, there is a little bit at the back on the far right hand side. Looks like the seeds popped up and the root's trying to do its best, and I think there may just be the odd shoot on the amaze lettuce, so that's good. We'll have a look at the second sowing of the broad beans. There's a bean there just being pushed out by the root, but the root's going in the right direction. So hopefully I will have a second crop. First time I've tried this. Some of the tomatoes have succumbed to a little bit of frost. Not looking overly happy, but for the first sowing I'm pleased with those. A little bit early yet really. Not all of the Alicante have fired, germinated. I'll get told off if I say fired. But I'm pleased with those. Hopefully I'll have a better setup next year, but pleased with this one for this time. And there's some of the brassicas. And now we'll have a little look at the leeks. Leeks have done better with the vermiculite on top. Unless obviously I haven't actually put any seeds in the other stations. And there's nothing showing on the Atlantic Giant pumpkin insides that I just threw in the bucket. Plenty of time for that, too early for that really. So as you can see with the candle, it's just getting a bit warm underneath there, so when I actually make my own, and I can still reuse all this wax, similar to the 100-hour candle that here, UK Here We Grow have demonstrated. So I'll have plenty of wax there and there, and with the product that they said to use to bulk out the long thin candles that you pop in the middle. So looking forward to that, having a go. So don't forget any of the Facebook groups, the Allotment Shed Forum, where you can contact me, UK Here We Grow, and Keep Calm and Make Compost. Any of my posts there, you can comment there on anything you've seen here. I'm sure they won't mind. So I know not everybody can actually comment. Let's just check for any condensation. Dry as a whistle. but you can see the condensation on the inside, so pleased with that. And I'll give you an update on when I decide how I'm going to use the lights in this grow room. May need some advice. Up and coming videos, we've got the stitching of the nets together. We used cable ties last time, so I'll be using the sewing machine and stitching. I bought 3 metre wide rolls, 50 metres long, and I'll just back off a bit, guys, it's a bit blowy. And I'll be stitching those up to get rid of all the holes. More of a test really, because the onions, it's the onion moth, but if the onion moth's already in the ground, the grub, I'm in trouble anyway. But it's the butterflies. I should have stopped them in the polytunnel by doing what I've done there, sealing it all up with those windows. And I'm also going to be doing some banana tea. I'm just trying to get more information at the moment on that. And a solar update. Thanks for watching, guys. Please comment, please subscribe. I'm so pleased with all the comments that I'm getting on such little views. Some people get thousands of views and 10 comments. Take care, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget the competition prize. Happy growing, everyone. Take care till next time.